Looks overwhelmed her sensibility, and after a 10-week courtship, they were married. Becca Burns stared at David, not believing she really heard what he had said, and she smiled. "First of all, David, this house is not community property and never has been, because it's not my house. It's in a trust. I've told you that a dozen times, but then you never did pay much attention to what I had to say. My Aunt Elaine made sure the house wasn't mine because she never liked you. She said you were a con man, and she was right. I should have listened to her." Becca leaned her back against the modern black side-by-side refrigerator, hiding her clenched fists behind her. "That's cruel, Becca, and I'll have my attorney check into that trust thing you said she did. See, I do listen to you. But there is still a matter of everything in here," David said, suddenly unsure of where he stood in their divorce proceedings. "David, when was the last time you talked to your attorney?" Becca quietly asked. Because, David, we've been officially divorced for almost a month now, and because you failed to appear in court to override the power of attorney you gave him, your lawyer cut a deal to keep you out of jail. You relinquished any and all joint assets in lieu of my not pressing charges against you for bigamy." David flinched as if she'd slapped him. "That's impossible. He was to call me to discuss any settlement." "Not my problem, David." Becca crossed her arms over her chest. "Be reasonable, Becca. I'm broke," he pleaded. Now on his feet, he opened his arms for her. "Well, you've got a really nice car for someone who's broke." She slipped out of his reach. "Get out of my home and don't come back, David." Smirking with arrogance, he grabbed the blue and red striped cloth grocery bag sitting on the table and turned to leave. "Wait a minute!" Becca snatched the bag out of his hand, surprised at how heavy it was, and emptied the contents on the table. A 2-pound canister of coffee, pasta sauce plus a package of linguine, a loaf of Italian bread, and 4 frozen steaks. 2 bottles of red wine rolled precariously close to the edge. "You're stealing my food? Wait, you've been stealing my groceries all along, haven't you? I thought maybe the kids were eating more, but no, you're just a thief on top of everything else. This is a new low for you, David. Get out!" David's face grew hotter as he turned away from his ex-wife, and he wasn't about to let her see how upset and embarrassed he was. Skipping down the 2 steps from the door to the cement garage floor as carefree as he could pretend, he spotted the remote on the bench. With a self-satisfied smirk, he grabbed the control and tossed it onto the passenger seat of his car as he backed out. Becca paced back and forth in the large kitchen, anger, hurt, and confusion rolling off her in sheets of pure, frustrated energy. How could he stoop so low? "He's a narcissist," her aunt's voice echoed in her head. "No one will ever come before his own selfish needs. Not you, not the children, no one. You know that. You've seen that time after time," the voice continued. "But what do I do now? How do I get past all of this?" Becca asked aloud, the hitch in her voice leaning toward a whimper. Aunt Elaine was silent. Rita Martin stepped away from the kitchen sink where she had been doing dishes. She had seen Becca come home from shopping and was going to stop over after she finished cleaning up the kitchen. That is, until she saw the other car parked in the garage. Becca's house was well hidden, except for the driveway that lined up perfectly with Rita's kitchen window. A few minutes later, she saw David leave, and he didn't look at all happy. Rita dried her hands, grabbed her smokes out of habit, and sure that Becca would need some company, went in search of her best friend. Things in the Burns home had been tumultuous for over a year, and Rita thought the divorce would end that. Apparently not. Not wanting to